Hello, 1 in a million people. I'm so happy that you guys are here and welcome to this video. My name is Eunice Chan. Today we are talking all about healing. So this is going to be such a wholesome and delicious and I think a very progressive topic for those of you who are on the healing journey, who are still in it, and every single day you feel like you're coming closer to your back to your wholeness. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because I have been on my healing journey for a couple of years now. And in the process, there's so many things that have come up, like popped up like popcorn left and right everywhere. And oftentimes I find myself like just being confronted with so many different kinds of difficult emotions and different layers of emotions, sometimes at the most, what feels like to be the most inconvenient times. So, and also I've had some clients ask me about, oh, what do I do if these unhealed emotions, they keep coming up over and over again? So I wanted to create this video to address all of it and to share with you like how I approach my own healing journey, because I'm going to be honest with you, like I am still on this journey and I know I'm going to be on it for quite some time. And as I progress, like I feel like I still have so much further to go. But I want to share what has been very helpful for me, what has really helped me come back to my true self, come back to feeling connected to my authenticity, and really find my own wholeness. So if this is something that you are pursuing as well, this is something that you're working on, you're going to love this video. We're gonna have such a good time. So I've always been the kind of person who has struggled with healing. I've always thought that healing was something that I just needed to do, I needed to think about, I needed to journal about, and then like after I've sorted this out, like I feel better, then I've moved past it. And then my subconscious mind was like, ha, no. So I've always thought that there was like something wrong with me in the way that I was handling my healing. And because it's such a personal process, it's such a personal journey, it was very difficult to share with someone that I feel like I'm really not moving much forward. And I've discovered that in this process, along the way, there's so many other people that are also experiencing the same thing with their healing. The fact that it keeps coming up over and over and over again. And so every now and then something pops up and then it just requires my attention. It kind of takes my attention, it takes my focus, and I feel like, oh, I really got to deal with this right now. But it's a recurring theme. It's something that I've dealt with before. The way that I felt about it was like, oh my gosh, this is, we've been here before, and Eunice, I've dealt with this before, and I don't want to have to deal with it again. So like, let's just clear this up once and for all. It's a new moon, set my intentions, let go, release, and off it goes. But oftentimes I find that sometimes it just comes back and it's very stubborn and it's very sticky and it likes to stay. So the way that I have evolved my healing process and my approach is that I've come to accept that they're going to be here for a while. So in this process, I have learned to be really, really gentle with myself. I have learned to really tune into, okay, we're not in a rush here. What does my heart need? What do I need? What do I need to feel safe? What do I need to feel secure? What do I need to feel love and kindness and gentleness toward myself? And really like holding that space for myself, which is something that I didn't learn to do before. So today I'm going to be giving you my 6 approaches in how I handle my own healing. And I really hope that this is something that maybe if you like it, if it resonates with you, this is something that you can integrate into your own life. And that this is going to really help in your healing journey. So the first way that I approach my own healing is that I create a lot of space, like a lot of space to create awareness of my higher self. So I don't believe that there are two entities, like a false self and a true self. Like I believe that there's only one consciousness within me that lives within me. But there's a process that I do that I kind of ask myself questions, like I talk to my higher self. And what I really do is what I'm really doing is I'm creating awareness of my higher self. It's almost like, okay, because I've lived from my ego, I've lived from so much mental activity for a very long time in my life, I've kind of made that my default, that I forget to tap into my higher self, or the voice of my higher self, or the guidance of my higher self. So what I love to do nowadays is to just talk to my higher self and ask my higher self questions, and just really like create a general sense of heightened awareness of this presence inside of me. And this has been so powerful, because when I realized that, oh my gosh, this presence has been living inside of me, this presence is me this whole time, and I haven't been aware of it. And I've just kind of been living in from my own mental activities and my own monkey brain and my own chatter. And you're telling me that I can have access to this beautiful being, this beautiful voice inside of me? It's like, wow, that's so amazing. So then I find a lot of answers from this place. I find like the most kind, gentle, loving voice, just by talking to my higher self and just by creating space to become aware of my higher self. So that's my number one approach and my favorite approach, because the more I connect to this place, the more I feel like I'm really back home. The second approach that I have is I actually don't force myself to confront my fears. Now, when we feel some kind of pain, or like a very subtle pain or a subtle fear that's like creeping back into our lives, creeping back into the mental chatter, and then we feel like, oh my gosh, it's here again and I don't want to deal with it, and okay, let me just like scroll on my phone so that I don't have to deal with it. And we all know that there are all kinds of coping mechanisms. There's like, all kinds of addictions: shopping, food, pornography, like all these things, like unhealthy like relationship addictions, ways of communication, scrolling, all the different things that we go to cope, to run away from what's like bothering us. I used to like stop myself from coping, like stop right now, right? And I try to pull myself out from that place of fear and and procrastination. But oftentimes I realize when I do that, I do it in a very forceful way. So the way that I handle myself right now is I don't force myself, I don't push myself to confront my fears. Sometimes I just need that time to cope. Sometimes I just need to sit with my fears for a while, or hide from my fears for a while, until there's a part within me that says, okay, I'm ready to deal with it right now, bring it closer. So what I'm doing is I'm actually giving myself plenty of time and space to deal with it. Plenty of time and space and allowance and permission to just let myself hang out around here for a while and feel into, okay, what is it that I am really afraid of, or what is it that I'm avoiding, and allow myself to avoid it for a while. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's really unhealthy. But sometimes that is the gentleness that we need to give to ourselves, instead of scolding ourselves, judging ourselves, telling ourselves, oh, you didn't pull yourself out there fast enough. Oh, you're just coping. Like sometimes we just need that gentleness within ourselves. So I give myself plenty of space to deal with it. I don't force myself. I don't push myself to confront my fears. A lot of times I will know when the time is right, and then I will be ready to open myself up to them. That's it. So my third approach is I don't stop my fears from coming up. Because a lot of times when the fears come up, they can feel really uncomfortable. They could feel really annoying. They could feel like, like I said before, it could feel like we've been here before, like, oh, we've dealt with this. And when they come up, I always see it as an opportunity that, oh, there must be another level of consciousness that wants to reveal itself. There must be another level, there must be another layer that is ready and available for me to heal and to see beyond this. And so I always come back, even if it was the same issue, I always come back for deeper levels of healing. And I find that when I really see this issue as like a blossoming petal, and I see that, oh my gosh, there's so many layers to this, I learn so much about myself. Like, I don't stop the lesson from coming, I don't stop the realizations. And it's almost like I am prepared, even if it were the same thing, the same subject, I'm healing from the same people, I am prepared for a new insight. And with this mentality, I feel so much more ready, and I feel so much more open to receiving, okay, what else do we have here that we have not been aware of before? And it feels very expansive. It feels very like, there's so many levels to explore, and I almost feel excited about discovering what else is there available for me. So, okay, I'm like losing track of where I am. Okay, my fourth approach, here we are. Yeah. My fourth approach is that healing can take place even when you're not actively doing it. So I have a lot of clients asking me, like, how can I fully and completely heal? Because I've done so much to heal. I have practiced, forgiveness. I have done Ho'oponopono. I have done releasing. I have written myself letters. I have burnt, I've done these rituals to release and forgive. But a lot of times I find that even when we're not actively doing the act of healing, healing can take place even when we're not thinking about it. So what it looks like a lot of times is like, I feel like I'm actually healing myself when I allow myself to relax. And I trust that when I am rested, when I am relaxed, when I am giving myself space to just process things and not think about it, my subconscious mind is actually doing the work for me. So you ever find that sometimes when you go to sleep really, really angry, or like with a really intense emotions, or maybe you're really frustrated going to bed, and then when you wake up the next day, you just don't feel as intense anymore, and you're like, I wonder where that emotion went. Like, I just don't feel it as intensely anymore. But like, you didn't do anything to actively work on it or release it or forgive that person or forgive yourself. It just, like, you just don't feel that same way anymore. So trust your subconscious mind that is going to do the work for you, and that healing can take place even when you're not actively thinking about it. It's not something that you have to keep constantly working on and, trying to crack and trying to like figure out, okay, like I've healed that piece, and then I'm going to heal this next piece, and this is the next thing that I need to heal. It's like sometimes you just need to let your subconscious mind have the space to run its own programming in the background. So the fifth approach is that my healing is not something that I need to overcome, right? The difficult emotions is not something that I need to overcome. It's not an inconvenience for me. And I used to always think about it in this way. Like, I used to see myself as someone who's really inconvenient, like this child who's always like tugging on parents' shirt or jacket, and it's like, oh, like, need attention. And I look at me and I'm crying, and I'm feeling sad, and I need I need your attention. Like I am no longer the kind of parent for myself who brushes myself away and say, I don't have time for you right now. I just allow myself to just sit there and listen. And it's not something that I just need to overcome. Like I don't really see it as hurdles. It's not an inconvenience. It's not like this. I'm not approaching my healing and my difficult emotions with this general feeling of like, ugh, you know? And, and even just like doing that expression, it just reminds me so much of how I used to feel about myself and my difficult emotions whenever they arise. It's like, this is taking up so much of my time and it's taking up so much of my energy. Like, why can't you go away already? But it's not something that I need to overcome. And the more that I allow space for it, the less I try to push it away, the less I see it as like the really annoying part of myself, the more the more I feel like I am healed in that way. So it kind of encourages more healing to take place when you are more gentle with yourself. So the last and final approach, number 6, is that we have to live forward and we have to live in a new energy and we have to create new experiences. When we are healing, it's not just about the healing that we are doing, it's not just about the things that we are thinking about, it's also about the life that we are consciously creating moving forward. So this really hit me when I was I was thinking about my healing for so long, and I was thinking about the people who have hurt me in the past. And I was thinking about like how can I move beyond this emotion, and I'm thinking about all these things that I can do and release, and help myself really. But I kept going back to the same scenario and situations over and over again, and I realized that I had no life moving forward. So what was really powerful, what was really insightful for me was the moment it finally clicked. Like, I have to live. I have to create a life moving forward. I have to create new memories. I have to make new relationships. I have to, with those new relationships, I'm setting new boundaries. I'm creating a new version of myself. I'm creating new stories. I'm creating a new narrative. And I treat myself differently in moving forward. And with the new experiences, I get to have a new narrative that becomes memory for me, so that I'm living life, and life is being created through me, and that is becoming a part of me. And so I actually get to move on in a very tangible way. Like, I actually become a new person with a new way that I continue to live as I move forward. I'm living in a new energy. I am doing new things. I'm doing things differently. I get to create, for example, this YouTube channel that I share all of my self-expression stuff. And essentially, it is an extension of myself. And I created this whole thing that I otherwise could not have if I was just so focused on thinking about my healing and doing things for my healing. And so, living a life forward and allowing myself to create from what I desire allows me to reinvent my identity moving forward, so that I'm no longer stuck in the past. Like, I have new energy in me. I have new social circle. I have new relationships. I have a new relationship with myself. And that is all incredible. And so it really has to go hand in hand. It's not something that, we have to keep going back to in the past. I think that healing is a very progressive process, in a sense that as you heal, you also become a different person. You become a new person. You become the kind of person who is more true to yourself. And the person who is more true to yourself lives differently. She has a life. He has a life. And you have a whole new story that that you can tell from that place. So one final note that I want to mention to wrap this all up and tie this together is that sometimes I think with healing, the way that I see and feel and experience it right now is like, you know, sometimes it feels overly optimistic to say that, oh, you just got to look on the good side. You just got to see it as a blessing. But more and more frequently, I can see that it's almost like a special, like I see myself as a character, the main character in a movie, and I see that I'm like the special agent that has been given this special task, this special assignment that I need to do and accomplish. And I feel like it's a secret task that I can't really tell anyone about, and I just gotta, like, I gotta do it in silence. I gotta do it, and it's a gift for me, and that it's like the secret task that nobody else has been given but me. And so in that way, I do feel really special. As silly as that may sound, I do feel really blessed to have been given the lessons that I'm processing in my lifetime as I continue to progress forward. So I hope that these 6 perspective shifts was able to help you move into a place to have a better relationship with your healing, and that I hope it helps you on your journey to become more, to feel more whole, to become more connected with yourself, to feel more love and kindness come back to yourself as you deepen these layers within you. So thank you so much for being here with me. I would love to know what you think about this topic. What was your biggest takeaway? And I love you. That's it. Take care. And I'll be seeing you on the next video. Where do I end the video? Where do I end the video? Do I just cross? Yes.